Test my brakes. Good. And you can just, it's really cool because in virtual reality, you see things and you almost feel things you just don't off a 2D monitor. Like I can just feel the weight of this aircraft, of flying it with 4 full wing tanks. There goes 102, heavy. That is just cool. I mean, it's really cool to watch. I'm probably going a little fast as I should. Let me clear this out. Okay, bring up my manuals. First thing, and I do have a tendency to forget this, is flaps to takeoff landing position. And as you can see, they're there, or going there. Okay, bring my manual back up and let's discuss takeoff while we're rolling. The wheel brakes will hold the aircraft at no greater than 80% of engine RPM. When powering up the engines for takeoff, release the wheel brakes as the RPM climbs through 70 to 75% and increase thrust to full military power as the aircraft begins to roll for takeoff. Maintain heading straight down the runway with soft pedal inputs. As the speed climbs to 160 to 180 kilometers per hour for normal takeoff weight, or 200 to 220 kilometers per hour for maximum takeoff weight, that's us. Pull the stick back about 2/3 of the way to raise the nose for takeoff. A good takeoff pitch angle can be approximated by placing the ends of the 2 pitot tubes along the horizon. Those things. Get back on course. The aircraft will take off immediately, almost immediately, as you raise the nose to a proper takeoff angle. If the aircraft is not carrying external stores, it will have a tendency to increase pitch dramatically, which can be countered by carefully pushing the stick forward. And yes, it will do that. Retract the gear at 10 meters above the ground and flaps as the airspeed climbs to 320 to 340 kilometers per hour at an altitude of no less than 150 meters. As the gear is raised, the hydraulic pressure may temporarily drop in the second hydraulic system, activating the Hydro 2 warning light. Talking about right there. Okay, crosswind takeoff. And let's put this away until I get to the runway. And the scenery, I mean, I kind of wish that WAGS would come up with a ground-based module. I think what would be cool would be the Willis Jeep. I would like to see the first DCS World full module be a Willis Jeep. And the reason for that is just so you can kind of cruise around in virtual reality on the ground in DCS World. It's scenic. What else can you say? Just really cool to do. So as I pull up here, one thing I have learned is ATC wants you to be ready for takeoff when you call. And what I mean by that is they want you at the runway. And what I mean at the runway, they want you right at the runway. Because if you try it too far back, or what you would think would be a good distance, ATC just ignores you. Let's try it here. Nothing's coming. ANAPA 103, request takeoff. And that's what I kind of mean. It's right here. Anapa 103, request takeoff.
Анапа, 103, взлет.
Okay.
103. Анапа. Взлет по готовности. Отход по схеме на 300 по давлению. 758,16.
Okay, set the barometer to 758. The altimeter, barometric altimeter. Okay, cool. Got my clearance. This is just, it's kind of exciting. I mean, I'm already coming up on the runway. This is exciting. Just flying in virtual reality in these aircraft is just amazingly cool. Lieutenant Bott is waiting his turn. Okay, I'm going to review a couple of things on takeoff. Okay. Wheel brakes to at 75%, release the wheel brakes. Rotate at 220 kilometers per hour, stick 2/3 of the way back. All right, got that. Okay, retract the gear at 10 meters at 340 kilometers per hour. Flaps up above 150 meters. When the gear comes up, the Hydro 2 warning light may come on. And let me read this because we do have a crosswind takeoff today. One of the peculiar features of the Su-25 Tango is the short span and base of the landing gear, which makes crosswind takeoffs and landings quite challenging. Cool. Nevertheless, the aircraft can be held steady while rolling in a crosswind up to 11 to 14 meters per second, provided the runway is dry. When rolling in a crosswind, the aircraft will tend to bank with the wind, which can be corrected by counter stick force against the wind. The aircraft will also have a tendency to turn into the wind, which can be corrected with smooth pedal input in the opposite direction. All right. Got it. So again, 75%, release brakes, rotate at 220, 340, flaps up. Okay, let's put the manual away. Brakes are set. 75%, brakes released, 100%. I can already start feeling the crosswind. It's trying to blow, push it to the right. I'm looking for 220. Rotate, put the PDOC tubes on the horizon, and it's trying to take off. Okay, gear up. Now I'm looking for 340, and I'll put the flaps 320, 340, flaps up, and then 340, flaps up. Okay, 2 is already rolling. Cool. So I'm going to start turning to my course. Aircraft is cleaned up for flight, I think. So back off on the throttle. So I'm going to the navigation mode. 2 is wheels up. And I call him 2 because that's what Bunyap always calls him, but I'm trying to call him Lieutenant Bott. Okay, and that's... So Lieutenant Bott has joined me, is rejoining. And let me go to my first waypoint. Waypoint 1. And I don't know where Lieutenant Bott is, but he's somewhere. So I'm now flying to intersect my flight plan course. Pull my speed back a little bit, my throttle back. And that was 102 heavy. So I'm intersecting my course. So turn on to waypoint 1. Intersecting my course line. And turn on to waypoint 1. I'm going to barometric altitude of about 600. I need to go up a little bit. It's my planned waypoint. And one of the things that I have noticed just from watching Banyas's videos, really good videos that he puts out. I haven't seen him for a while, and I kind of hope he gets back to making videos. But one thing I've noticed, he has a hard time managing his bot wingman, his AI wingman as they're called. Properly, I call them bots. And one thing I've noticed that I've kind of learned from other viewers, that if you especially have like several wingmen, or even just one, if you first of all give Lieutenant Bot time to get to the runway before you take off, or if you have more than one wingman or flight group as it's called, you wait till them to get to the runway ready to take off. And when you take off, if you have like a 4-flight group, if you'll circle the airfield and allow them to take off and to kind of rejoin you, they do not expend as much fuel as they would if you just take off and full throttle to your first waypoint, because the bots just don't manage fuel very well, and they will just full throttle until they catch up with you. And by the time they do catch up with you, yeah, they can have burned up a considerable amount of their fuel. So that's just a tip that I've learned from fellow DCS world pilots. So we're almost to 1. As you can see, my ADI course required bank needle looks good. My waypoint needle looks good. My HSI looks good. And of course, the flight director circle is about where we want it. And I'm not a professional pilot, so my airmanship, I'm just right now just trying to hold the correct altitude, the correct flight path, and the correct speed, which is really much more difficult than driving a car. And of course I had one rudder pedal pressed in all the time for my takeoff. Okay. Alright, cool. So we're headed to my next waypoint. $470. While we're approaching it, I'm going to bring up a page, my next mission topic item, and it is I find it. I believe it's page 47. It's of an item that will be of interest to us. And it is called Performance, Climb Performance. And this chart was done, and thanks to Cam Potikocha, I don't know how to say it, for data and charts. This is really helpful for the Su-25T virtual pilots. And what this does is tests for climb performance were conducted under the following conditions. Initial altitude of 200 meters, MSL, climb thrust of 97%, time of climb 60 seconds, payload, all pylons with 100% fuel, which is us, and constant air indicated airspeed in flight time of 60 seconds. Let's put it this way for a moment. And just do some sightseeing. That is cool. Just seeing the ships in the bay, and that's really, really nice. That really cool. This is what's so cool about DCS is I can just fly for hours, not even doing combat stuff, just flying, seeing sightseeing. It's pretty amazing. In virtual reality, it's just really amazing. So we're coming up on our next waypoint. And now we're going up to altitude of 7,000 meters. And I'm going to try to set the throttle at 97% and go back to our chart. Obtained results are in figure 1.0. Flaming Cliffs 3.0 Su-25 Tango climb performance. And this is a good chart. If you read into it, basically what this shows us. Curve representing simulated performance, blue, and poly approximation, dark. Orange indicates the optimal climb rate is obtained at speeds ranging from 450 kilometers per hour to 500 kilometers per hour indicated airspeed.